Hi boys, we're going to look at some more examples of composite areas now. So some of these diagrams will look the same as what you printed out for the notes yesterday. Now I've added a few new questions, so I want you to print these notes out and replace the pages that you printed yesterday. So I think it's just the last maybe page or two that you'll need to replace. The other pages are okay. So let's have a look at this question here. You've got to work out the area of this shape. Okay, so what we're going to do here is use the addition method. So I'm just going to draw a dotted line across the shape. So I'm dividing this into a rectangle and a triangle. Now that's the right angle there. So I'm going to call this A2 and I'll call this A1. So let's do A1 first because that's easier. Now A1, it's just the base times the height, isn't it? Because it's a rectangle. So we've got a base of 14. There it is. Base of 14. And the height of the rectangle is 16. Okay, so that's going to be 14 times 16. And you can use a calculator for that. 14 times 16. That is 224. And that is centimetres squared. Now for area 2, which is the triangle, we need to work out the base of the triangle and the height. Now the base of the triangle is going to be 14. You can see that there, that's 14 there. So this must also be 14. All right, now the height of the triangle is not 30 though. The height of the triangle just goes from here up to here. So what you're trying to do is find that distance there, okay? So how do you do that? Well, what we do know is that the full length of this right-hand side is 30 centimetres. So let's just change colours for a minute. I'll just get rid of this little bit here. Okay, so we know that going from here all the way from the top to the bottom is 30. Okay, that's what the question tells you. But we also know that from here to here, this distance there, we know that is 16 centimetres. Okay, 16 there, so 16 up to there. Okay, now if that's 16 there and all the way is 30, then this little section here must be 14. So 14 must be from here just to there. Okay, so 16 plus 40 is the full 30 centimetres. So that means we can now work out what the second area is. So A2 will be, now the formula is base times height divided by 2. Now the base of the triangle is 14. The height of your triangle is also 14 in this case, divided by 2. Now put that into your calculator. You should get 98, and that's centimetres squared. So the total area will be 224 plus 98. Okay, so that's going to be 322 centimetres squared. Okay, so make sure that's copied down, and then you're going to try the next question, which is very similar by yourself, the hashtag example. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is divide the shape into a rectangle and a triangle. Now, there's my little right angle. So it's a right angle triangle. Let's start off with, we'll call this as A1 and this is A2. We'll start off with A1. A1 is the base, which is 14. and the height, which is 8. So 14 times 8. That's 80 plus 32, which is 112. Okay, 112 square meters. Now, A2 is the base times the height. Now, the base will be 14, and the height, let's just use a highlighter tool for this. The height is just this bit here. Okay, that's the height there. So we need to work out this distance. Okay, now we know that all the way, so if I just use a different color here, we know that from the top to the bottom, it is 20. Okay, but we also know that if this is 8 meters here, then this is also 8, isn't it? 8 from there to there. Okay, now if there's 8 from there to there, and it's 20 all the way down, then it must be 12 from here to here. Okay, 12 plus 8 gives me the full 20. So now we can find the area of the triangle. So it's base times height divided by 2. So 14 times 12. So 14 times 12 divided by 2. And that will be 84 if you put that into your calculator or work it out. So the total of that is 112 plus 84, which is 196 square meters. Okay, so make sure that solution is copied into your book if you didn't get that correct. All right, and we're going to look at another question now. Now, this is area of shaded regions. So let's have a look at this particular question. You've got to find the area of the shaded part. Now, we're going to use the subtraction method for this. So what I'm going to do is find the area of the entire rectangle. So the entire rectangle is, I'll just trace the outside border there. It is all the way down, then all the way across, and then there we go, something like that. So we're going to find the area of that big rectangle. So let's do that. All right, so let's call that A1. So A1, now it's just going to be base times height. Now the base of that entire rectangle is 50, and the height of the rectangle is 25. Okay, so you're going to work that out on your calculator or work it out mentally or by pen and paper. You should get 1250, and that's millimeters squared. Okay, so 1250 millimeters squared. Now, the other shape you can see here is the parallelogram. We're going to find the area of this parallelogram. So the parallelogram, we know the formula for that is also base times height. So there's the base of the parallelogram. So that's going to be 30. The height is 10, which is 300 millimeters squared. Now, since we know what the entire area of the rectangle is, and if we subtract the area of that parallelogram, so let's just shade that in a little bit. So this area here, the parallelogram, if I take that green area away of the parallelogram, what's left over is the the shaded part of the rectangle, which is what I'm trying to find. Okay, let me just rub those little dashes out. So let's use the subtraction method then. So the area of the shaded region, which is the pink part of that shape, is going to be 1,250 minus 300. Okay, so that is 950 millimeters squared. So what do we basically do? We found the area of the entire rectangle, which includes that parallelogram part. Then we took away the parallelogram. What was left over was the shaded pink part that we needed to find. Okay, now copy that down, and then you're going to try the last question. This one, here we go. You're going to try this one by yourself. Okay, so first things first, we've got the big triangle, and then we've also got a square here. We just want to find the area of the shaded part in this shape. So let's find the area of the entire triangle. Let's call that A1. So the base of the triangle is 14. The height of the triangle they give us 20.6. So let's put that in. So base times height divided by 2 for a triangle. So let's put that in. 14 times 20.6 divided by 2. Should get 144.2 there. And that is millimeters squared. Right, and then A2 is going to be the area of that square there. Now all sides are equal in the square, and the square is just base times height. So it's just going to be 4 times 4 there. Find the area of that square, 16 millimeters squared. Now we don't want to include that area of the square, so we're going to take it away. So the area of the shaded region will be 144.2 minus 16. That's going to give you 128.2 millimeters squared. Okay, so just to summarize what we just did there, we found the area of the entire triangle. Okay, so just trace around that bit there using the formula base times height divided by 2, right? And then we took away the area of the square. So we took away this area here. And what was left over was the area of the shaded part that we had to find. Okay, so that is the end of our lesson.